Okay, so picture the scene. It's Monday morning, January 26th. We're in London.
Right, outside the Kiss FM studios.
And it's one of those, biting gray mornings where the air just feels damp.
And stepping out of a car is Olivia Attwood.
Yeah, and if you know UK reality TV, you know the look. Immaculate hair, this long suede trench coat.
And she's clutching a Starbucks cup like it's a lifeline.
Exactly. She looks like she's just heading into another day at the office.
To anyone just walking by, everything looks totally normal.
Right.
I mean, she's standing next to Pete Wicks, her co-host. They're laughing.
But if you zoom in, you look past the designer coat, past the coffee cup, there's one missing detail that's just screaming.
Her left hand.
It's completely bare. The diamond is gone.
And then the digital hammer drops.
One click on Instagram, unfollow.
And a 10-year saga, a marriage, all of it, just deleted in the time it takes to blink.
The paparazzi cameras flashed. The crowd froze.
And just like that, Hollywood had a new obsession.
Welcome to the StarScope report.
I am so ready to get into this one.
Oh, I'm sure you are. So today, we aren't just, gossiping about a breakup.
No, this is bigger.
We are unpacking a decade of drama. We're really looking at the disintegration of the marriage between reality TV royalty, Olivia Attwood, and footballer Bradley Dack.
And we've combed through all of the sources. We're talking reports from The Mirror, The Sun, OK Magazine, and crucially, the transcripts from Olivia's own podcast leading up to this exact moment.
Right. And the mission today isn't just to say they broke up. It's to understand how a relationship that survived reality TV, public infidelity, immense scrutiny.
How it all suddenly collapsed.
Yeah.
Over a single weekend.
What is the anatomy of a bolt from the blue?
Well, the headline screaming from every outlet is just brutal. He destroyed her.
Yeah.
So let's unpack that. What actually happened?
Okay, so let's start with the facts. The news broke over the weekend of January 24th and 25th.
After just 2 years of marriage.
In a relationship that goes back a decade, Olivia Attwood and Bradley Dack have separated. And the phrase being used by every single insider, it's specific and it is damning.
Breach of trust.
Breach of trust.
That is such a heavy phrase, isn't it? I mean, it's not, we grew apart.
No, it's not conscious uncoupling. It's code for something specific, something sudden.
It almost sounds like a legal term.
Yeah.
Like a violation.
Exactly. And the sources keep calling it a bolt from the blue. That's a crucial detail because it implies Olivia did not see this specific event coming.
Right. We know things had been rocky, and believe me, we will get to that. But this thing, whatever it was, it completely blindsided her.
She's being described as heartbroken, devastated, and enduring what she calls blue days.
And you can see it. You said it yourself. She arrived at the studio looking
Downcast, tired. But here's where it gets really interesting for me, the contrast. While Olivia is visibly grieving, dismantling her life in the public eye, where was Bradley Dack?
He was at work.
He was on the pitch.
On a pitch, yeah.
He plays for Gillingham FC. The very same weekend this news breaks, he's helping them win 3-0 against Harrogate.
It's a fascinating psychological contrast, isn't it? The compartmentalization that's required of a professional athlete.
It's incredible.
His personal life is detonating. His wife has just unfollowed him, which in 2026 is basically the digital death certificate for a relationship.
Yeah.
And yet, he's out there performing at a high level.
It's wild, but while this breach of trust might be a bolt from the blue, if we look at the last 6 months, the warning signs weren't just there.
Oh, no. They were flashing neon red.
They really were. The foundation was cracking long before this weekend.
So we have to go back.
We have to talk about the summer of 2025.
Yeah.
The summer of chaos.
Right. This is critical context. So last summer, Olivia's in Ibiza. She's filming, she's partying, and she's with Pete Wicks.
Her podcast co-host. And photos emerged of them on a boat looking very...
Hey, Sozy.
Very cozy. I remember those photos. And look, they've always maintained they're just friends. But the optics were a nightmare for a married woman.
And that's the point, isn't it? It's not necessarily about what actually happened, but how it looked.
Totally.
And reports state Bradley was, quote, livid and fuming.
Right.
But there's a detail in these reports that I think is the most damaging part of that whole saga. It wasn't just jealousy.
No.
It was humiliation.
Okay, let's circle back to that. Because you mentioned humiliation. We know about the photos, but where does the humiliation come in?
This, I think, is the detail that really put the nail in the coffin, even more than the photos themselves. It's the reaction around Bradley.
Go on.
So, reports state that Bradley's teammates at Gillingham FC, we're talking a locker room of professional male athletes. They took those photos of his wife and circulated them in the team WhatsApp group.
Oof. That is visceral.
Think about that environment. Football locker rooms are notorious for banter, but it can get so toxic. They weren't just looking at the photos. They were taunting him.
Mocking him.
Mocking him about his wife's behavior while he's stuck in the UK playing the season.
It completely changes the power dynamic, doesn't it? It stops being a private marital issue.
And it becomes a public emasculation among his peers.
Right. And you have to understand the status difference here, too. Usually, in the whole WAG world, the wives and girlfriends of footballers.
The footballer is the star. He's the breadwinner.
But Bradley plays for Gillingham. That's League Two. It's respectable, but it's not the Premier League.
It's gritty, it's cold Tuesday nights, it's unglamorous.
Meanwhile, Olivia is arguably one of the biggest reality stars in the UK right now.
She's hosting huge shows. She's the face of major brands. She's in Ibiza on yachts. So when those photos land in the group chat, it's not just your wife is flirting.
It's your wife is bigger than you.
She's out of your control, and she is embarrassing you.
That is a toxic cocktail. So he comes home not just jealous, but feeling small.
It creates this resentment that just festers. Olivia even admitted later on her podcast that she was in the doghouse for a long time. She called it a really bad summer.
She owned that the optics caused damage, regardless of the truth.
But once that respect is eroded in the locker room, it's very, very hard to leave that anger at the door when you come home.
It sounds like two different worlds colliding. You've got the high-gloss, filtered world of the influencer.
And the mud and guts world of lower league football. And that tension didn't just stay in the locker room, it followed them home.
Which leads us to the next massive crack in the foundation.
The house.
They sold the house. The Cheshire mansion. The dream home.
This was the house with the his and hers walk-in wardrobes, the pool. They sold it in late 2025 to move to London. And the way Olivia described this move, it was not exciting new chapter.
No, it sounded like a funeral. I watched those stories she posted. She was crying, saying she wasn't ready to say goodbye. She called the move horrendous.
And there's this one vivid detail of her being hungover on moving day, watching her parents project manage the chaos while she was just physically and mentally checked out. It's the behavior of someone who is grieving, not moving.
You have to ask, why sell the dream home if everything is fine?
Exactly. Usually, you sell the house after the split. Doing it before suggests they were trying to change the scenery to fix the problem.
A geographic cure. If we just move to London, it'll be better.
But the problems followed them. And that leads us to Christmas. This is the part that really stood out to me.
Oh, yeah. Christmas Day 2025, they were apart.
Totally apart. Bradley was playing football, which, fine, that happens. But Olivia, she wasn't with family. She was in a London hotel room.
Just her and the dogs, Lola and Stitch.
Because the new apartment was filled with boxes.
Yeah.
She said she mentally needed a break from the mess. But think about the symbolism of that.
Spending Christmas Day in a hotel, 10 minutes from your house, alone, she called them ships in the night.
And she explicitly called her personal life in 2025 garbage. That is not a subtle hint. That is a cry for help.
It really is, and yet she was still trying to keep up appearances. Just days before this split, she was joking about a New Year's resolution to be a better wife.
Oh, that interview. She said it was in jest, but then she says, I feel like I'm going to be held accountable. Talk about foreshadowing.
It really makes you wonder, when you're that deep in the public eye, how much are you performing the marriage versus actually living it?
That is the ultimate question for any reality star. The audience wants the fairy tale, or they want the drama. They don't want the boring, sad reality of just drifting apart.
And if you are shocked by these twists, by the way, make sure you hit that subscribe button. We've got even wilder stories coming up about how social media is reshaping modern divorce that you will not want to miss.
We certainly do.
So hearing all this, you might think, okay, so they grew apart, the distance killed it. But remember, the headline is breach of trust. This wasn't a slow fade. Something happened.
And here's where it gets really interesting. Because this is not the first time Bradley has broken her trust. In fact, if you look at their history, his cheating is the only reason we even know who Olivia Attwood is.
You know, there's that phrase, how you get them is how you lose them. And when I was reading through the timeline, I realized this breach of trust isn't a new flaw in the system.
No. It's the foundation of the whole building. It's almost Shakespearean in its tragedy. If we rewind all the way to 2017...
Before the fame, before the documentaries.
They were just a normal couple, dating since 2015. And then...
On came the golf trip.
Bradley goes away with the boys, stops answering her calls. And then, the classic betrayal, Olivia finds out he's been unfaithful.
Now, for most people, this is where the story ends. You cry, you block his number.
Maybe you slash a tire.
Right. But Olivia, she did something nuclear.
She signed up for Love Island.
I love this detail so much. It wasn't just about finding love, it was revenge.
It was calculated revenge. She explicitly wanted to go on national television, look amazing, and make him watch her move on with other men.
She wanted to be unavoidable.
And it worked better than she could have ever imagined. She didn't just make him jealous, she became a superstar. She built an entire career because he cheated on her.
Which creates this fascinating psychological paradox, right? They got back together in 2018, but the entire balance of their relationship had shifted.
Completely. She was now the famous one because of his betrayal. He had to live with the fact that his mistake made her a star.
That's heavy. Imagine looking at your wife on a magazine cover and knowing she's only there because I messed up on a golf trip.
And now, nearly a decade later, we are seeing the exact same headline. Breach of trust. It makes you wonder, did they ever really fix that crack in the foundation?
Or did they just paper over it with wedding photos and a reality show paycheck?
The sources suggest the latter. They tried to perform the happy marriage. We all saw it on Olivia Meets Her Match, but when the cameras stopped rolling.
That original lack of trust was still just sitting there waiting to detonate.
And you have to wonder about the power dynamic again. She became more famous. She became the primary breadwinner, certainly in terms of media presence.
Right.
And now, she's shedding that past.
Shedding, that's the word she used, right?
Yes. She referred to 2025 as the year of the snake.
I love that image. It's vicious, but it's necessary.
It's very telling. A time for shedding skin.
Yeah.
And if you look at her physically in the last few months, she's changed.
She went from blonde to ginger.
She dissolved her fillers. She talked about getting rid of fake friends.
It's a metamorphosis. She was preparing for a new era. And speaking of new eras, the sources are buzzing about an escape plan.
That's right.
This isn't just about moving to London. There's talk of the USA.
She's been openly discussing it with fans, New York or L.A. She's saying it's a toss-up. While she's officially in London for now, the conversation about leaving the UK entirely is happening all the time.
Can you imagine Olivia Attwood taking on New York? That feels like the ultimate fresh start, putting an ocean between her and the pain.
But we have to address the elephant in the room.
Or rather, the man in the trench coat standing next to her.
Pete Wicks, the co-host.
The rumors are flying. Everyone sees them together. What are the facts?
The facts are that despite the Ibiza photos, despite the chemistry on the podcast, both of them maintain they are strictly friends.
Strictly friends who spend a lot of time together.
True, but he has been a consistent support system for her. While her marriage was becoming garbage, her professional partnership with Pete was thriving. They're doing the Sunday Rose podcast, and she's venting to him about her nightmare January. He's the one hearing the Blue Days comments firsthand.
It's such a stark contrast to Bradley, who is allegedly the source of the heartbreak.
You have one man causing the pain and another man providing the platform to process it.
And giving her a reason to laugh. You can't underestimate the value of that when your personal life is collapsing.
Absolutely not.
So what does this all mean for the listener? We've got a 10-year relationship, a lavish wedding at the Bulgari Hotel, a dream home, all gone.
It's a reminder of how fragile these things can be, even when they look perfect on Instagram. You have two people who are essentially living separate lives, ships in the night, trying to hold together a brand and a marriage.
But when trust is broken, especially for the second time, the structure just collapses.
It really does. And I can't help but think about that quote from her Q&A just before the split. A fan asked where Bradley was.
And she said, "He's alive, I swear. Marriage is frickin' hard."
And then she said, "No one wants to say that part out loud."
Well, she said the quiet part out loud, and now the silence is even louder.
It is. She unfollowed him. She took off the ring. She's moving on.
And if you're shocked by these twists, make sure you hit that subscribe button, because if we've learned anything from StarScope Report, it's that Hollywood and reality TV never sleeps, and we've got even wilder stories coming up that you won't want to miss.
Absolutely.
So as we wrap this up, it's a tragedy, really. A decade of history.
It is a tragedy. It's a story of a relationship that just couldn't survive the pressure cooker of distance, the toxic banter of locker rooms, and, at the end of the day, a fundamental lack of trust.
It makes you wonder, though, and I want to leave the listener with this thought.
Go on.
If a relationship starts with a betrayal, if the very reason you are famous is because your partner cheated on you, is it destined to end the same way? Or was the fame that brought them back together the very thing that tore them apart?
That is the question. Sometimes the origin story predicts the ending.
You've been listening to StarScope Report, where we uncover the stories shaping Hollywood, music, and pop culture. Thanks for tuning in, and don't forget to subscribe for more stories that keep the stars shining.